Hello, YouTube. It's the Utopian Buddha. So I am currently writing a book on the demythologization of the world and how the death of religion and the death of God has had incalculable consequences for human consciousness and society as a whole. So let's start with a quote and let's jump right in. The world hangs on by a thin thread, and that is the psyche of man. We are the great danger. The psyche is the great danger. Carl Jung. So we are living out a particular myth. Carl Jung has this other quote where he states that, let me get the quote real quick. The most important question anyone can ask is, what myth am I living? And that applies to the collective level too. Socially, collectively, we are living out a myth. And whether that myth is the New Age utopian myth or the apocalypse myth depends on the state of human consciousness and the evolution of human consciousness. But right now, we are on a knife's edge, whether the myth, the collective myth that we are following, we used to follow the collective myth of Christianity, right? But that container, that mythic container died with the rise of rationalism and scientific reason. And what that did was it created this process of introjection. Introjection, we used to project our inner evil and our inner good onto God and the devil, right? These were forces outside of us. But what happened with the rise of the modern era is that these forces went into human consciousness and left the external world. We stopped projecting and we introjected those forces. And that's had the consequence of us having to deal with our own inner good and inner evil as psychic factors, as factors in our psyche, as opposed to, it's easy to keep it at a distance when you're projecting it saying, oh, the devil made me do that, or oh, I'm doing good because it's all God. To take personal responsibility for all of those forces is a monumental task because of the archetypes of the psyche or the archetypes of the collective unconscious. So one of the results of the Western man, let me read this. I'm writing a book, right? So, nevertheless, if the unconscious is integrated, if the inner self is recognized for what it is, this leads to a transformation of consciousness and consequently a transformation in our understanding and experience of God. Since good and evil now exist side by side in individual consciousness, the nature of God must in consequence shift to deal with both sides of existence, to deal with the opposites. God is no longer a good in conflict with evil. Instead, God evolves into a paradoxical reality transcending human categories. So that's just a basic synopsis of my book. I'm going to do a much more detailed examination and video when I finish the book. Once I finish the book, I'm going to put the whole thing up on YouTube, and we're going to do it that way. Have a great day, guys.